As Buick's flagship model, the 2015 Buick Lacrosse has a greater sense of occasion than the typical full-size sedan. Tasked with showcasing the brand's best attributes, the Lacrosse comes with ample standard features. Styling is upscale, a nod to Buick's premium brand aspirations. On the road, the Lacrosse whisks you along in near silence, expertly soaking up bumps without feeling floaty. This car is a favorite across the Pacific among chauffeur-driven Chinese dignitaries, and it only takes one to drive to understand why. So, let's go ahead and check out this 2015 Buick Lacrosse. Now, as far as styling goes on the vehicle, I think it's pretty sedate looking, yet very handsome as well. However, it does appeal to the more older generation, and you can really tell this is a Buick by the chrome waterfall grille. Now here's the key fob for the vehicle. As you can see, it's a pretty basic looking key fob. However, something interesting is that you actually have push button ignition and smart key access. However, it is a switchblade key. Pretty interesting there. But you do have your unlock, your lock, and your remote engine start, and to release your trunk, and then your panic button too, of course. The design of it is pretty basic though. It's a white frost tri-coat exterior with smart key access on all four doors, with a beige leather interior, your power driver seat controls, power recline, and your power lumbar too. Now stepping on into the vehicle has a pretty decent step-in height. And the overall cabin design of the vehicle is very tastefully designed. It's a very elegant looking design, and it's very stylish as well. I love this design of the Lacrosse. It's also very luxurious looking. Now, you also do have push button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start, of course.
Championship, which is...
Of course, you do have a full leather-wrapped steering wheel. Feels pretty nice in your hands. Coming to your transmission, you have a standard 6-speed automatic. This is your only gearbox available here. Manual shiftability, no paddle shifters, however. This isn't a sports sedan, of course. But at least they do let you have manual shiftability. Putting the vehicle into reverse, of course, displays your rear view camera. However, I do have a complaint that this rear view camera, the resolution of it is pretty crummy looking, I have to say, but you do have guidance lines. And let's go ahead and turn on the lights and the hazards too. Automatic driver's side window. And let's go ahead and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors with LED turn signal indicators. You also do have 17-inch alloy wheels. Now the Lacrosse was slightly refreshed for the 2014 model year. They really introduced more advanced safety technologies, and they also did restyle the front end and the rear end as well. You have these LED daytime running lights, which give the Lacrosse a much more premium presence. You also do have halogen projector beam headlights and your halogen fog lights too. Under the hood, you will find a 3.6-liter V6 with variable valve timing and direct injection, producing 304 horses at 6,800 RPM and 264 pound-feet of torque at 5,300 RPM, and expect EPA estimates of 18 in the city and 28 on the highway. This powertrain is pretty silky smooth, providing decent acceleration at the times you need it for your daily commute. Now, this is actually the optional powertrain. The base powertrain is going to be a 2.4. Now, the standard powertrain on the base models is going to be a mild hybrid system that pairs a 2.4-liter four-cylinder with a 11 kilowatt electric motor and a lithium-ion battery pack. combined at a very mediocre 182 horses and 172 pound-feet of torque. Now, if it's the most power you want out of the Lacrosse, you definitely want to step up to this 3.6 liter V6. All-wheel drive is also available on the Lacrosse. Now, pricing of the Lacrosse starts at the Premium 1 group, which starts at $38,025. Then you have the Premium 2 group, which starts at $39,970. And then you have the base model, which starts at $33,635. And then you have the leather group, which starts at $35,725. Now, essentially, the Buick Lacrosse has one main direct competitor, and that is the Lexus ES 350. And it's pretty much in a class of its own, as the Lexus ES does not offer all-wheel drive, but the Buick Lacrosse does. Now, the Buick Lacrosse can't compete with the Infiniti Q50, as that has a more sporting flair that is also rear-wheel drive. And this Buick Lacrosse is more about a smooth, compliant ride, soaking up road bumps. And that's what exactly is the Lexus ES 350. The Chrysler 300 might also be a main direct competitor, as well as GM's own Chevrolet Impala. Now, one styling cue I'm not really a big fan of, and that's pretty much across all Buicks, is this little vent that's fake and is pretty pointless to have. It just looks kind of cheap to me, but that's just my opinion. That's just one styling cue I'm not a huge fan of on the Lacrosse. Coming to the rear, however, you have a pretty elegant looking design in the rear. You have full LED tail lamps, dual exhaust tips, and rear parking sensors too, and a rear window defroster as well. Now, like I said, EPA estimates are at 18 in the city and 28 on the highway, and total vehicle price for this particular one is $38,810. Power windows, power mirrors, memory seat settings for 2 people too. Nice padded and stitched armrests, nice and soft to the touch on the upper door panel too. And let's go ahead and rev it up. Now this cabin here of the Buick Lacrosse is very nicely done and tastefully done. It really can now rival that of some German luxury sedans as well as many Japanese luxury sedans. You know, Buick has really come a long way in terms of their build quality and their materials. The materials have definitely vastly improved from what they were in the 2000s, which was a horrid time for Buick and GM in terms of their build quality and materials. But this is a very nicely done cabin here. You have very nice soft touch materials up here on the upper door panel, all around on here too, and then right here as well. And this can really rival Lexus here. And then also right here is also very nice and soft to the touch and stitched too. And from behind the wheel, the Lacrosse's rakish wraparound dashboard makes a very strong impression. It contours flow seamlessly into the door panels, joining with the gracefully angled center stack to produce a pretty decidedly modern upscale ambiance. Thin blue light strips trace those contours when it's dark, adding to the very premium vibe. And materials quality is very fully competitive for the price. Now, with either engine, the Lacrosse's driving dynamics are very spot on. The ride is exceptionally comfortable and quiet, but there's more to this Buick than just its cruising credentials. It doesn't feel like a land yacht from the driver's seat. On the contrary, it's surprisingly composed and steady when you're driving around turns. Now, one drawback to this artful design is that the controls aren't quite as straightforward as some might like. However, once you get used to it, it is pretty easy to use. You have dual zone automatic climate control, your fan speeds are located right here, and your heated seats too. You also do have your different zones, your rear window defroster and your front window defroster, and your recycling too. Coming down here, you have a 12-volt power outlet and a little storage cubby. And I like the nice wood grain trim here, pretty classy looking in my opinion. You also do have your cup holders, electronic parking brake, and your traction control off button is right there. Coming to the center console, nice and soft to the touch and stitched too. Pretty unique how it slides open. However, the center console storage can be a little bit better. It's a little small. This is actually smaller than my Camry. You do have a 12-volt power outlet, a USB port, and an auxiliary input. It's located down here. You also do have your auto-dimming rearview mirror, OnStar, SOS Safety Connect 2, your garage home link, interior illumination lighting, LEDs, and your sunglass container. Now you can actually get a panoramic sunroof inside of this car as well. Now, as far as seating comfort goes in the vehicle, the seats are very nicely contoured and they have the nice right amount of side bolstering, and they don't feel like a couch like how old Buicks used to do. These seats are much more comfortable and much more supportive for those long road trips. And I've found a very comfortable driving position inside of this car. Now, as far as visibility goes, the visibility is okay. It can be a lot better. The glass area is not the best. Outward visibility is meh. And then back there, the windows are very thin, I have to say. Compared to the Lexus ES is much easier to see out of. The C-pillar back there is also very thick, I have to say, which can create for massive blind spots. However, they do give you all of the safety technology options here, like lane departure alert, blind spot detection, as well as forward collision warning too. Now, coming to the steering wheel design, I think that they could have added wood on the steering wheel. It just looks a little plain looking. However, that's just my opinion. Coming over here, you have your cruise control buttons, your voice recognition, and then your Bluetooth. Over here you have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, and to control your center screen right there, which I will get to in just a second. Now, coming to this system here, you have Buick's IntelliLink system, which is related to Chevrolet's MyLink system. The responsiveness of the touchscreen is pretty decent. You have your audio located right here. Then you have your phone, your navigation, your settings, Pandora, internet radio. Of course, you have to have your smartphone connected, your weather, your text messaging function. Of course, you have to have a Bluetooth phone paired. Then your OnStar.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Coming to your different audio sources, of course, you have Bluetooth streaming audio, your different media inputs like your auxiliary input and your USB port. AM, FM, XM satellite radio on this bad boy, as well as an optical disc drive down here. But I love the touchscreen. The rendering of it is pretty good too. And it's actually more responsive. Now, coming to your weather, it actually gives you your forecast layout, and you could do 36 hours or daily. And it gives you your weather advisories, and then you can configure your weather alerts, and then you have your map legend right here. Pretty neat. Coming to your different settings, you can change the time and date, the language, the valet mode, display, and your voice. And I like how this is touchscreen. It's much more easier to use when it's a touchscreen. People can figure it out much more easily. So overall, I like this system. The system has great rendering, the responsiveness is also decent, and it's a pretty good system overall. Coming up here, you have your parking sensors button. You also do have intermittent windshield wipers too. Now, as far as the way the Lacrosse drives, it's no sports sedan here. It really rivals a Lexus ES here, and really what it's going for is comfort. And in that regard, it rides very comfortably. It's a smooth highway cruiser here. And that's pretty much fine for the traditional Buick buyer, as that's what they want. They don't want a sports sedan that's something that rides too stiff. Now, one interesting feature is that the Lacrosse has been one of the only few vehicles in this price range to provide 4G LTE data connectivity and mobile Wi-Fi as standard equipment. Now, coming to the center screen here, I particularly love this center screen here. The rendering of it is superb. Kind of reminds me of the Corvette a little bit here. And then coming right here, basically this shows you your speed, what speed you should be going, what the speed limit is. And then you also do have your tire pressure monitoring. Basically, it's going to show you all your vehicle information. Then you have your remaining oil life, your fuel range, your fuel economy data, and then your trip odometer too. And then a digital speedometer. And then coming to these gauges over here, it's very clear and easy to read. You also do have a manual tilting and telescopic steering wheel. Nice range of adjustment, I have to say. Coming down here, you also do have your little storage cubby. So overall, I love this cabin here and the update to technology and the luxury inside of this car here as well. Alright, and let's go ahead and shut down the vehicle. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the car, including the rear seat passenger space as well as the trunk capacity. So a nice neat little feature is that when you actually open up the trunk, it opens up all the way. It does have an okay amount of cargo capacity, however I've definitely seen better. However, if you do get the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine with the battery pack, your cargo capacity will be even compromised even more. So if you don't want your cargo capacity to be compromised, you'll want to stick with the V6 powertrain. Build quality and materials do follow through in the rear. They don't cheapen out back here. Now, sitting back here, it's a very roomy cabin here. And I have just enough legroom back here. Now, here's your rear air vents. And then you also do have a 12-volt power outlet down there. The seats are very well bolstered, very comfortable. Nicely done for a long road trip. You also do have cup holders back here. And a little center storage compartment too. But overall, it's a very nice time to spend back here. And with the panoramic sunroof that the Buick Lacrosse offers, it'll definitely give it a much more airy cabin feel inside of this car. Alright. Powered passenger seat with power recline. Your glove box compartment, nicely damped and lined with felt, very high quality. Alrighty. So with its sleek interior with up-to-date technology, luxurious ride quality, available all-wheel drive, many available safety features, and top crash safety scores, the 2015 Buick Lacrosse is a well-rounded large sedan that pampers its occupants and drives nicely, especially with the V6. Now remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.